Exodus chapter 3. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am. Do not come any closer, God said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. At this, Moses hid his face, because he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Israelites has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? And God said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain.
Last week we heard about Samuel learning to listen to God's voice. This week's story is about God hearing our voices. It's the story of Moses and the burning bush, which in a way is about Moses hearing God's call. It's an encounter that he's not too happy with, because God is sending him back to Egypt. Moses had run away from there, despite his privileged upbringing in Pharaoh's palace, for killing an Egyptian guard. And he'd made a different life for himself, as a shepherd for Jethro, his father-in-law, and had settled there, far away from Egypt. And one day he sees a bush on fire, but not burning up, and he goes over to see what's happening. And God calls him out of the bush, again like Samuel, by name. You're on holy ground, he's told. It's an interesting thought that if God is everywhere holy ground, but we just don't realise it? Does that affect how we see and walk upon the earth in our daily lives, or how we encounter God in his creation, or how we care for it? Holy ground. So God delivers his call to Moses to return to Egypt. Why? Because he has heard the cries of the people in slavery. He hears them crying out from the cruelty and suffering that they're under, and he comes to act. And he acts by sending Moses to challenge Pharaoh to set them free. And it made me think, I wonder what cries God hears today. Cries of the pain of conflict, the injustice of the oppressed, of the unwanted unborn child, of the bullied or abused, of the refugee and the homeless, or the bereaved. There are so many desperate cries. Maybe we've cried out to God at some point in our lives too. I know I have. It doesn't mean that he wasn't there, but somehow we can't find him. Isn't that the cry of Jesus on the cross? So, Moses, what does God do? He calls to Moses, a man who was uniquely gifted with growing up in the Egyptian palace, a man who understood the cruelty of the slave masters and had once stepped in. But that was in his own strength. Now God was sending him back in his. And what about the cries in our modern world? Is there something God is calling us to do in his strength to meet the needs of those cries? It may just be for one person, but it will bring in his loving kingdom of grace and freedom through our obedience and service. Who might God be sending us to? So often our response is like Moses, you can't possibly mean me. And yet we might be the perfect people, because as we heard last week, God's call is always a perfect fit.
There's a story of unfailing love that echoes in my heart. There's a promise that you're always here. Your word will light my path. We shall not fear the days to come. You are with us to the end, and everything is possible through God who gives us strength. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles, and everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Whether I am rich or I am poor, I will give you thanks. I will lift my voice to sing your praise in every circumstance. Whether found in sickness or in health, I have learned to be content, 'cause everything is possible through God who gives us strength. You make everything brand new, 'cause you're the God of miracles, and everything is possible through God who gives us strength. Or whosoever shall believe Jesus made a way. His blood